Hello everyone, and welcome back to an interview many months in the making. I'm Eljay, and today I'm joined with a community fan favorite and the creator of the best Miru replica I have ever seen, let alone wear, Cyberhand.
Hello everybody, great to be here again.
Yeah, we've already actually recorded this interview. Unfortunately, I had a massive computer restart, and it wiped all my audio files for anything ever.
It was partially my fault as well, because when I uploaded the images to you, that should have been done months ago, but there was some glitch where they never went through.
Images or no, I still would have completely lost everything. So it's
yeah, but you could have got it uploaded before the crash if the images came through.
Possibly, yeah. But you know what? None of that matters now. We're here. We're actually able to do the interview. So let's go ahead and get started. You're primarily known in the community for, well, first of all, my mask, of course, which is, again, I must say, the best Miru replica I've seen, let alone worn. Because I know a lot of people, they dabble in the Pepakura, but that one's a little bit too wide and the nose is weird, but yours is perfect.
That's the great thing about 3D modeling, is that once you get the reference images you need, you can make an exact replica. And with Pepakura, when you're working with paper, the paper can flex and bend, and the shape might not be what the end product you want it to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So aside from the Miru, which we will touch on again in a moment, you're also well known for your other 3D modeling escapades, specifically that of the Mask of Ultimate Power, along with several others, Mask of Time and a Prototype How, to name a few. Would you like to go ahead and tell us a little bit more about that, processes, what drove you to make those, and kind of things along those lines?
Well, the Mask of Ultimate Power was definitely the biggest pain, because it is easily the most complex mask that I've put on Shapeways at the moment. And it also has, well, not the least amount of reference images, because the Mask of Time only has one reference image. But there are a lot of intricacies and tricky parts that look different from different angles, and it was very tricky to replicate all those curves or the spikes coming off. When I put the first model up, the biggest thing I got was the fins need to be bigger, but another half of the group said the fins need to be shorter. So, depending on the view and what people had already thought of the model to look like, really did depend on what the final product looked like.
Okay. Interesting, because I know once you made the model for the Mask of Ultimate Power, it kind of just took off.
Oh, yes.
It went up.
Sold over 1,200 in 1 month.
Wow, that's incredible. That's excellent.
Yeah, I've only sold like 20 in the past month, though, so...
yeah, things have kind of died down. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to a few general questions. Let people know you a bit. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is... he goes by username Cyberhand, and please go ahead and tell us just a little bit about yourself, how you got into modeling, and 3D modeling, and Bionicle and Lego, and that kind of general thing.
Alright, well, a little bit about myself. I was born in England, moved over to Australia when I was 3, and I've lived here on the Gold Coast for the rest of my life. I have high-functioning autism, also known as Asperger's, and people that are designated in that category are non-neurotypical. Our brains are wired a little bit differently, and because of that, we tend to latch on to certain things and not let go. And for me, that was both Pokemon and Bionicle. I latched onto that and have never let go since. It's always been a big part of my life. And it is actually the reason I am a 3D modeler now. Just all those years I spent playing with my Bionicle, taking them apart, putting together sets, creating my own characters. When I was in year 10, I learned a little bit about 3D modeling, and it was that same sensation of just putting everything together, making something from scratch, that was so similar to Bionicle, and I realized this is what I want to do. I want to try and make a character and animate them like in the movies. I wanted to bring that sort of same joy to someone else in the future. because I think we all remember that first time we watched Mask of Life, and Mask of Light, not Mask of Life, and that music just came up. It gives me the shivers every time, and now that the soundtrack is out fully, I have downloaded it, listened to it a lot more times than I should have, and yeah, my very first 3D model was Makuta Cricker. While everyone else in the class that was like making very simplistic figures, I'm like, what's the most complex Bionicle I have at the moment? He has a lot of spikes. I'm making him. Yeah, it did not... It was definitely a good first attempt, but looking back at it now, it's just... nope, don't want any of that.
I believe you actually sent me a picture of that specific Krika model, or is this a different one?
Oh, no, that is it. That's an image of the very first model I ever made.
Okay. Great. Excellent. It'll be in the video for everyone to see.
Everyone look upon it and feel the shame of the weight of my shame.
It's still better than anything I could do, so. Fantastic. What was your first Bionicle set?
My first Bionicle set, that would have been the Garok. Yeah, I got it when I was 11 at the time, maybe 8. But I just love the way it could just fold up into a little ball, a little kickball, as a lot of people call them.
Oh, yeah, okay, alright, the Galak, the blue Borok, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. But just the standard one from, like, 2002?
Yes, I don't think Australia ever got the Borok car line. Never saw them in stores.
The majority of people would say you lucked out on that one, because they were just like the Borok, only in silver, so...
Yeah, but they're in silver. That instantly makes them 100 times cooler.
Yeah, I don't know how well they sold, but yeah. I mean, hey, I have a personal bias, because as Galak was your first set, Galak Kal was mine. So, that works. Yeah, Borok were really good. Really cool.
Yeah, me and my little sister, we used to turn down the teeth of the Borok, and we'd always catch each other and leave scars all over each other's hands because of it.
Yeah, I think I started to do that too. And then somebody looked at it one day and went, wait, no, they need to be the other way. It's like, oh.
No, they're down because they work as teeth that way. And you can actually...
Exactly, because... Yeah.
Instead of just knocking the masks off, you could actually latch onto it and tear them off.
Yeah, exactly. It does make sense. But, I mean, it still works with the set. It does not, affect it at all.
Oh, no. They still fold up and everything.
No, everything's A-okay. Alright, so you got into 3D modeling through Bionicle. You wanted to do that. When did you start to get into the community and decide, you know what, I'm gonna start making these things that people really want?
That was actually when I got in contact with you for the first time, commenting on one of your podcasts. I'd never actually made anything for the community before. I just always made stuff for myself and put it up on DeviantArt. I never thought of being able to give back to the community, so your mask was the first time I'd made something for another Bionicle fan, and the Mask of Ultimate Power is the first time I made something for the entire community. I hope to be able to bring more stuff in the future, and I am working on making a full-scale Akama mask at the moment.
Oh.
One day I just want all 7 of the original masks on my wall, Mask of Light included.
In gold, or their natural color?
All in gold. Not gonna settle for anything less.
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, I remember when we first got in touch, because, yeah, it was a podcast episode of TTV, and during it we'd been talking about 3D printing, and you had mentioned in the comments that you were heavily into 3D modeling and 3D printing.
Yeah, I was literally working on the model of the Kanoi Miru when you were talking about 3D printing. I'm like, they're talking about 3D printing. I'm working on making a 3D model of the Miru. I wonder if I can combine these two things.
Turns out, yes, you definitely could. Because we finally, you made the comment, and I got in contact with you, and there was a little bit of time in between when we first contacted to our second contact, because I'd gotten wrapped up in other things and I'd kind of forgotten. But then we started trading emails.
Feeling.
Yeah, yeah. But eventually we started trading emails, and we got it worked out to where you had made the Miru, and you sent it over to someone in the States who I then picked it up from, and I took it. I wore it. I took it to Brick Fair, and it's my final mask. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and you don't wear it anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do occasionally wear it. You'll see what I mean. But it's just great. Obviously, you also helped me out with recommending the rub and buff that goes on it, so that the paint coming off no longer an issue. I can make it look nice and snazzy very easily now. So thank you for that.
Yeah, that was my biggest concern, because I haven't actually done that much work with paint before, so your mask was the first thing I'd actually painted myself for a finished prop.
Yeah.
I've worked out a few things better than that now, and for any future masks I make, I'm going to be making a silicon mold of the final 3D print, and that way I'm going to be able to rotocast it and make a resin. And because of that method, I can actually embed gold powder into the resin itself, so nothing will be rubbing off with the future masks.
Excellent. That sounds great. Well, I'm still really happy with the end result over here. To be honest, some of the paint when it runs off, when it kind of comes off, it looks a little bit like battle damage, and I love that.
Well, Lua did lose his mask a few more times than the other Toa, so I imagine hitting the ground that wouldn't have helped that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I love it. And if I want to fix it up, boom, fixed, done.
Yeah, rub and buff is really easy to apply. Just makes everything look so good. And especially in the sun, like in the shade, it looks good. But when you bring it out into sunlight, it's like, this is actually a gold mask.
Yeah, it really shines. It's great. But yeah, no, it's outstanding. Go ahead and walk us through, because like we've previously established, it is different from Pepakura. I think it's way more accurate than a Pepakura mask ever can be. And that being said, walk us through the process of how you're designing this mask and scaling it up and being as accurate as you can be.
Well, first thing I do when I'm making a 3D model is I get reference images, and luckily Moldat Mask had a pretty nice front image and a pretty nice side image with enough detail on the side so I could actually use those as points of reference. After using those two, like a front and side image, I'm able to generate a 3D model around that. That takes about 5 hours or so. And the Kanoe Miru is a relatively simple mask compared to some others out there. Mask of Ultimate Power, I'm looking at you. And once that's done, I'm able to make it a little bit thicker. I then cut it into sections. I think your mask was done in 7 different sections that I'm able to fit onto my 3D printer and print out. After all 7 pieces are printed, that takes well over a day to print. I then glue all the pieces together, use super glue to fill in the cracks, and then comes sanding. Lots and lots and lots of sanding. Because with 3D printing, the way it works is that put down a layer of plastic, the bed moves down a little bit, and then another layer of plastic is put down. And this leaves like ridges on the side of it, and if you feel on the inside of the mask, you'll probably be able to feel those ridges, like if you run your nails across it. Yeah. But the outside, I need it and want it to be perfectly smooth. So I went to the store, got some sandpaper, and just spent the next 2 weeks sanding the mask.
Oh, goodness.
Luckily...
Well, it is smooth.
Oh yeah, it's very smooth now. As were my fingers afterwards. I sanded my fingerprints off. No one will be able to identify me.
Exactly, great. Now, some people would say now you can commit any crime so long as you only use the tips of your fingers. No one will be able to figure out who it is.
But yes, I learned halfway through the project that there's this spray putter filler, which they use in automotive cars for like getting rid of scratches and that. So that can actually help fill in the little layer lines, and cut my time in half, and actually made it look a lot better. I'm able to get 2 types of finish with it. A nice matte finish or a nice shiny finish if I polish it. It just comes out and gives a really nice glossy coat. That's almost mirror-like. I can see my face in it.
Wow.
Then came the painting, which I put down a black coat first, a black undercoat, then a gold overcoat, and then used gold rub and buff to really make it shine and pop. Then
Okay, I see.
I wanted the mask to fit comfortably, so I added EVA foam on the inside, same stuff that they use in like mattresses and that, or yoga mats. Yoga mats are made out of EVA foam.
Perfect. So like, just like Subway, I can like eat it too. It's like if I have to.
Well, maybe. I don't know if you'd want to eat it because of all the glue on the back of it, attaching it to the mask.
Fair, yeah.
But you can try and get back to me on that.
I like the mask too much to damage it, so I'm gonna let it be.
Yep.
But okay, so you added the foam, and yeah, I can attest to its comfortable fit.
The next thing was the visor part. I'd never actually worked with acrylic before, and I actually ruined the first 2 acrylic sheets that I bought because of it. Cut it out into a shape that didn't fit. Tried to use a drill on it, and just shattered the whole thing. Third attempt, though, before the sheet arrived, I mapped out where the shape of where the visor would be, and actually used Peppercura to print that out, so I would be able to get an accurate shape. Used my bandsaw on it when the acrylic sheet finally came to cut out the shape. Put that in the oven, heated that up so it was all nice and flexible, and then put that onto the inside of the mask to get molded to that shape. And that's how the visor was done. Okay,
interesting. Yeah, it's really nice because you can see out of it easily.
Yeah, no one can see
seeing
it.
in is nigh impossible. It's like wearing sunglasses, but with a mask around them.
Yeah, so, it cuts your visibility down a lot.
Yeah, no, that is true. Yeah, that I attribute that more mainly to the mask design, and it's a very tunnel visiony mask. I found myself at Brick Fair tripping over children very often.
Yeah, the way the mask is, the protruding out from the nose area, you can't see anything beneath that level. I'm surprised you didn't kick someone in the face by accident.
Me too. But it all worked out. But okay, cool. And you said you plan on making all of the Mata masks at some point?
I do. I'm not looking forward to doing Kopaka's because his is the most organic shape and it's going to be quite tricky to get that correct. I'm good with
that round shape, yeah.
Yeah, flat, hard surfaces I am good with. Organic shapes I am definitely getting better at. My first organic shape was... Oh, what was that? Yeah, it's not even worth mentioning. It's probably just like a low polygon head that I never finished.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's understandable. Now, regarding the sale of masks, so you've mentioned this, I believe, on the message boards somewhat, and we did obviously discuss this the last time we spoke, but you do plan on selling these wearable masks. Is that right?
Yes. Thanks to being able to make silicone molds with fiberglass jackets, I'm able to replicate these masks very quickly using the rotocast resin, like I said before. So what takes a month of work, I'm able to do in the span of an hour now, and for I'm going to say about 1/10 of the cost, because your mask cost you about. Wait, is it okay for me to say how much it cost?
We can keep that to each other. We'll just
okay. But
yeah. It was expensive, but quality shows.
But yeah, I'm able to make these new masks for $70, which is a fraction of the cost. And for the first 10 people that order one, I'll be reducing the price to $60 and also throwing in a resin copy of the Mask of Ultimate Power and the Mask of Time that I've made. I've been able to print those out here in my home. I'm going to get them all tidied up, make little molds of them, and then use an ATD resin, which is about as hard as a construction hat, to create the masks. So they're going to be sturdy, they're going to be accurate, and yeah, they're going to fit, which is the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. That sounds great. Regarding the mask selection, will you have all the masks by this point, or just Miru's?
I just have Miru's at the moment. Making the silicon mold costs me a lot of money, like $120 just to make the silicon jacket. And then for the fiberglass, it's like another $70. So I'm quite low on money at the moment, so I can't actually afford to make another silicon mold for a little while.
Okay, that makes sense. So just Miru's for now.
Just Miru's for now. Like I said before, I am working on Pohatu's Akama, and the next one I'm going to be making is going to be Tahu's after that.
Okay, excellent. I can imagine Tahu's is going to be really popular.
Yeah, I can imagine that too. Maybe I should save it for last, keep everyone waiting.
I don't know, man. I think you need to get that one out as fast as possible. But, okay, excellent. Well, that sounds like a stellar deal to me. So, to recap, first 10 buyers gets $10 cut off the total price and has 2 additional Bionicle set-sized masks, the Mask of Ultimate Power and the Mask of Time, thrown in as well. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome.
That's a G2 Mask
great.
of Time, not the G1 Mask of Time.
Yeah. Yeah. The one that LEGO didn't release, of course. But, alright, excellent. We're going to go ahead and start wrapping up here shortly, but let's go ahead and go over a few more questions. Just general things. Do you have a favorite Bionicle set and or character?
Gen 1? Or
either, any. Both of them.
Gen 1. I would have to say that my favorite set was Nadiki when I was younger. Purely because I love spider-like creatures. And I am a little disappointed his set didn't look more like the movie counterpart, because I would have loved those silver Rakshi leg pieces that they used in the movie. And for some reason didn't use on the actual set. Yeah. Gen 2, I would have to say Umarak the Hunter. I love the way Uxar fits onto him and the way he looks after that. I think he's definitely one of the best builds of that generation.
Okay, no, that's fair. Do you like any other LEGO theme in particular outside of Bionicle, or did none just can't catch your fancy?
I have bought a few Star Wars Lego sets over the years. I am a big fan of the it's the Star Wars TIE Interceptor, the one with 3 pointed wings, and actually came with a little chrome clone trooper, which, yeah, he's the star of my Lego collection.
That sounds cool. Yeah, Lego Star Wars is always a safe bet as far as good sets are concerned. They do a really good job with those. And finally, do you have any words of encouragement for aspiring 3D modelers? Any pieces of advice? Anything you want to say to the general Bionicle community at large?
Okay, for beginning 3D modelers, it can be a little tricky at first, especially if you're using a program you're not used to. I would suggest use multiple free programs and find one that suits your aesthetic most, or your the way you work. I use Cinema 4D because I'm a very visual person and I can see everything on the screen and what I need. And so yeah, that suits me better than something like Blender or Adobe Autodesk.
Okay,
for the Bionicle community at large, I'm just saying I've always just been one of those people that just sat in the back and just watched everything else. I love seeing what people make, but I am not one to interact first. So if you come and contact me, I'm definitely up for a talk about anything. Especially if it's related to Bionicle or Pokemon. I can talk for days about that.
All right. Where can people contact you at?
Oh, I'm most active on Facebook. So if you get in contact with my Facebook page there, it's just Cyberhand 3D Modeling and Design. I'm also active on DeviantArt most, and I'm trying to get more active on Tumblr and the TTV message boards.
Excellent. Links to all of these will be absolutely in the description, although I will definitely need a link to your Facebook. Wait, no, I think I can find that. I don't know if I can or not. I will have to see if that's possible, but either way, everything will be in the description, so please definitely go ahead and check that out.
Awesome. Last little thing,
Right.
I'm just going to state my prices here. For a basic commission for me, it cost me about $40 for something simple, such as a Bionicle mask. And since I haven't got any other commissions beside that, we can discuss other details. If you have a plan, I've made several Iron Mask helmets in the past, made props such as Mjolnir's hammer, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, Loki's scepter. I'm currently working on a half-scale personality core from Portal 2, and I'm really looking forward to finishing that off.
Excellent. Those all sound fantastic. I'm sure anyone would be interested in getting definitely the Iron Man helmet.
Yeah, I sold like a little half-scale one a few weeks ago for $20. And that was just a little raw print. I would like to get a few of those, a silicon cast made of a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
And make a full-scale Mark 41 suit, Bones. Yeah, lots of detail on that one.
Oh yeah, a lot of plastic too.
Luckily, a lot of the parts are just copied and pasted, so I could just create a small mold of that and just make like 20 or 30 of the pieces I need for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I can imagine that would end up working. Do you plan on cosplaying at any conventions?
I only get the chance to go to 2 because they're close to me, and that would be a Gold Coast Supernova and Brisbane Supernova. The next cosplay I'm planning to do is Dr. Octopus from the 2004 Spider-Man 2. I've always loved those tentacles, and I want to make my own set of those.
Oh, awesome! That sounds cool. They're also very intricate, so best of luck.
I was actually able to get some shattered segment pieces from the actual movie. So I've been studying the pieces, putting them back together, and making an accurate 3D model.
Oh, that makes it easy. Never mind. That's great. Okay, cool. Well, in that case, do you have anything else you'd like to impart with?
Let me think. Yep, just feel free to contact me if you have any questions. I also love talking about cosplay. I like hearing what other people are working on and giving my 2 cents, even if it's not needed. And slight warning about the Miru. When you put it on, you may feel a sudden urge to wear Hawaiian shirts and a sudden hatred towards blue pins and red axles.
Yes, I can confirm this. But you should have that feeling anyway. No. Well, thank you so very much for pretty much everything. Obviously, I have the Masks of Ultimate Power. The Miru is absolutely phenomenal. And thank you so much for coming on and being a part of the community and doing all that you do.
Oh, no problem. I just thought it was about time I give back to something, to the community, which I've always been a part of but never interacted with. I just love everything to do with Bionicle. I love seeing all the fan projects. That one that you recently showcased in the podcast looked absolutely amazing. I'm definitely going to be checking that out.
Oh yeah, Afterman. Yeah.
Yes. The artwork and that, just so good.
Mm-hmm. It's really good. Yep. But yeah, no, the community's great. So we're glad you're a part of it.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
All right, well, in that case, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Cyberhand, thank you once again for coming on. It's been a great time.
Oh, it's no problem. We should talk more.
I agree. I 100% agree. We really should. But, yes?
There was one other thing I thought, and that is that you're talking about, in one of the previous podcasts, you were talking about using 3D printing to make like Lego parts, but though I love the idea of it, at this stage I don't think it's going to be cost effective, because if you look on Shapeways, the price of Bionicle pieces is enough, just one piece alone is enough to buy an entire Lego set sometimes. So
that is true.
Until we get like faster and make it cheaper, might not work for a little while.
That's fair. Yeah, that's a perspective that does need to be explored, certainly.
Yeah, I hope I'm there to explore it.
Yeah. All right, well, once again, thank you so very much. We're going to go ahead and take off. Once again, all of the places you can contact Cyberhand will be in the description below. Obviously, images will be plentiful in this video. Thank you all so very much for watching, and go ahead and do everything that you'd like to do to support us, if possible. Thanks again. I'm Eljay.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm Cyberhand.
And we'll see you all later. Farewell.
Bye-bye.